Your feet are naked, so that's all I need.
Which foot?
She's the best volunteer. It doesn't matter. Pull some lead strips for me, please. All right, that is good. That is good. Yeah. You know. Oh, very late then, never.
No, Walker Group is in there.
Yeah, well, look, call them. I mean,
They're coming.
call everybody. There you go. Thank you. Okay. So, what we're going to do here is toes, feet, and tip fib. So, I'm removing the artifacts. Believe it or not, these are artifacts. They show. They show. The genes will show. So, you have a knee. If it's a jeans, you know, especially if it has a kind of thick crease, whatever it is, you need to really get it off. If you can do it like this, it's fine. You know, when we do a knee, this might not be fine because it's going to show basically around this edge when we do a knee. So what we do, we tell the patient, go to the restroom, take your jeans off, have this gown, you know, open it to the back, you know, the usual approach, okay? So, I mean, this should be now like a, you know, common rule, I would say, okay? So, what we talked about as far as toes, same thing like a hand, is that right? I mean, so, you know, we check the armband, make sure that that's who she is, date of birth, 2 IDs, you know, this becoming a big issue, you know, I mean, and it's a really important issue, so we need to kind of make sure that we are aware of that. Next question will be, you know, the usual, routine now in all hospitals. I mean, we even have to sign a pregnancy release, okay? So, Minisha might be pregnant, no. And last but not least, you know, childbearing age, I'll throw an apron on her because sometime, you know, let's say a foot, I'm anguloencephalic, so this is really some of that scatter beam. Now, we're not going to split here the idea of tight collimation or appropriate collimation. I mean, you know, because I'm trying to remove that stigma on me, you know, collimation a la Jacques. I mean, you know, but, you know, the screw up is the student. I mean, you know, I didn't ask you to collimate to about that much. I mean, I asked you to collimate to the size of the film. I mean, something like that, but that's okay. I'll take that. Because technically, you know, collimation, you know, to the, at least the size of the IR is an important element in improving your image quality, reducing, you know, intense skin dose to your patient, you know, the whole 9 yards. Okay, we're studying that stuff in radiation biology as well, so it's not really a new item. When it comes to foot, actually, it's the same story. We have to really, again, plan. In conventional imaging, I have to worry about that stupid blocker. So we had something more to think about. You guys now, you don't, but because I'm using conventional now, so we're gonna start with what? A foot, I mean a toe. Let's start with the big one. All right, with no previous x-ray. So what are we gonna do first? The famous AP survey. So we're gonna place that that foot right here. Notice that to avoid having to tangle with this stupid blocker here when I'm splitting the remaining of the, you know, this and this, I put it right here because I'm not really interested in, you know, I'm not going to see much of that stuff on an AP foot. So definitely I'm going to place that blocker like such, you know, and I'm going to throw in like a 10-degree cephalic angulation. Let me make sure I am at the proper, you know, you love this one, so we'll move on you, go back to your 42 minus 2 inches back to 40, is that right? Then we're going to move that baby like this, and then we're going to bring it here, and where are we going to go?
Third one.
There you go. So this is my first, second, that's my third. I'm pretty much where I need to be, is that right? So whatever it takes, I mean, you know, but notice that with my sheer luck, I was 100% aligned to the midline of the cassette. Isn't that pretty? You know, if you can achieve that, man, that's wonderful. If not, you know, as long as you have a beam to this size and you have a foot with the whole anatomy, you know, not really borderline. This is not a complete foot, gentlemen. Why? Okay, I mean, it's just not really, it's no brainer. Can you see me? You can't, come here. Squeeze over here next to you, Ronnie. There you go. Okay? So some of these things are really, you know, common sense. We're not gonna dwell much about them, okay? I can put a marker right here, plenty of space, okay? I mean, it's not really 2x4. I mean, it's barely that much. And this is a good AP foot all day long. PA or AP? Projection. So it's an AP foot. PA hand, AP foot, okay? We need to get those kind of behind us. So after I'm done with this portion here, I'm going to ask the patient gently, please ma'am, move your foot. Notice that, you know, they might be hurting, you know, and you're going to see those kind of, you know, I mean, injuries from a basic sprain to really nothing wrong with her or with you or whatever coming in, I don't know, for some kind of anxiety attack, and all the way to really messed up, I mean, injuries. I mean, messed up type toes chopped by a lawnmower blade, a foot dislocated and really mutilated by a car wreck, by a motorcycle accident. Okay, so what does that mean? It means that I'm going to learn my basics, I'm going to learn really what I'm supposed to show, and I'm going to work around my patient. I mean, definitely, you know, those scenarios you're going to accumulate that confidence and practice and know how, you know, the more you go, but that's ultimately what you know, what you're trying to achieve. So you expect the unexpected, you know, that's a kind of fair term to kind of say, okay? So what we're going to do now is I mean, I achieved definitely an AP toe. I need what? An oblique and a lateral, okay? An oblique and a lateral. So we're gonna go back to our famous 42, you know, and notice that I'm not worried about point 7 and point 1, you know, and we're gonna, you know, clip this cassette like we did with you know, with the hand and finger, I should say. Notice that the only difference here is what? I mean, for a hand, I had my film crosswise. For a foot, you know, longitudinal axis again, you know, along the longitudinal axis of the cassette as well, or IR, okay? And here I'm going to do an oblique, and the oblique is rather simple when it comes to toes, okay? You know, same story, we're going to go into that particular joint. We have only 2 failings here, is that right? And what's exactly what we're going to show, you know, like this, right there. You know, I don't know why you're wasting your time, but that's okay with me. You know, I'm exactly doing what your book is showing you, but there you go. I'm happy. That's it. That's all I need. Okay, notice it is a medial oblique. Is that right? You know, now, you know, under good condition, hopefully I can really ask her to kind of, if she can, control, move him this way, but I mean, really, you're really, you know, it's not going to happen. You know, that's the bottom line. You try your best. Now, the lateral is really a more difficult task. We're not going to really lie to each other. All right. Frankly, I would have did the oblique here and the lateral here, but it's okay. I mean, it doesn't matter. So, the lateral, as you saw, we have an element of OID. And if you remember in the lecture, they showed you like this. That's the only time I will do something called what? Lateral medial projection. The reason why we can attempt it, because I'm not really sure how good that patient can give me this picture. Well, she's good, so it's fine. Luckily, she's able to control her toes upward, so I have a clear shot. I have a clear shot to a good lateral. Honestly, you know, we're not gonna notice that my beam is always going. That centering, you know, that point here. We're gonna show it to you again. This particular point sometimes has to be in the proper centering. You see where I put it? I put it right again at this joint as much as possible. But this is not bad. This is here as a good